Holla holla, it's your boy George Billionaire, and today, Monday, what an amazing day it is to be tuned in to Hustle Hard here on Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's Heartbeat. Salute, salute, salute to all the pulses listening to us far and wide. And yes, what an amazing time it is to be alive. I've said this all the time that we must be grateful with every single thing that is happening in the world today. Waking up, being alive, hearing this audio, being tuned into the radio station, wherever you are. The best blessing that you have today is being alive and being able to do, have, and be the person that you are today. So let's be grateful to God. Let's stop murmuring and complaining about financials because worry does not add a single day, second, minute to our lives. But when we're grateful, we begin to attract certain things in our lives. Today on our show, of course, what an amazing weekend. So much happening in the world, in Africa. There's so many people being displaced from their countries that they've been for such a long time. We're seeing that in South Africa, in America, in the UK, all over the world. And for me, I always tell people that sooner than later, reality is going to sink in. There's no better place like home. And when certain things happen, instead of murmuring and complaining, even to those who still are wherever they are, let us begin to think of what we can do back home, where we know we've got peace, we've got security, we are not going to be tormented, we're not going to be fought. And just like that, you can actually end up leaving the place that you've been for so many years just because something changes drastically. Today, as we go on the show, we're continuing. Last week, we were talking about 7 things you should do in order for you to change. That was absolutely amazing. For those who didn't hear that amazing conversation, my recommendation is go to George Billionaire YouTube page and watch the amazing episodes of all Hustle Hard series we've done in the past 4 years. The week before that, we were talking about nothing changes until you change. Nothing will change until you change. And this week, I want to talk about something that unfortunately many people don't realize, but they do subconsciously. And they think something miraculously is going to happen and their lives are going to change. And you'll hear the similarity of my conversations of how I talk about certain things happening and how many people think that there's a savior who's going to help them. There's a president who's going to create a job for them. There's an uncle, an aunt, somebody who's going to just come and give them a car, a house, money, and their lives are going to be okay from there and then, and they don't have to work another single day of their lives. But unfortunately, that is never going to happen. I want all of those people who have those hallucination dreams to wake up from their dream and actually begin to look at life realistically. Now, I've said this and I'll repeat. Nobody is coming to save you. I'll say this again in the mother language. Hakuna munhu ari kuuya kuzokubatsira kana iwe usiri kukwanisa kuzvibatsira. Nobody is going to help you. Now on Hustle Hard, our message, our core message, our purpose and our mandate is to keep pouring in knowledge and wisdom so that we transform your mindset of solely believing that money is earned by you doing the same thing over and over again, and then you will become rich. There's nothing like that. If you just have a job, a job, I've said this before, yes, you've got some form of security, but those who have a job are just over broke because they have just that one stream of income. But the beauty of life, especially in a beautiful country found in southern Africa called Zimbabwe, the easiness to start a business, the many problems that Zimbabwe has, similar like all the other countries, going through war, going through so many different political, economic issues. Zimbabwe has so many opportunities. And if you look around north, south, east, west of this beautiful country called Zimbabwe, I want you to ask yourself one thing. Why is it we have so many people believing in a country called Zimbabwe by bringing in their investments, by building, by investing hard-earned money from other countries to bring it to Zimbabwe? Yet our own people in Zimbabwe are not seeing the same opportunity, but all they are seeing is their job. We don't have jobs. I want an increase in my salary. And I remember I've told you this many times on this program. I used to be like you listening to this program today, who used to earn $300. I used to earn commissions. I was not paid very well, and I was not happy. But one thing I decided to do, because I was not happy, I decided to form an entity by the name of Pro Air Conditioning in 2012, which has been providing many solutions to people's heat wave problems, to people who are going through very cold winters. And those solutions have in turn rewarded me financially to the position that I am today. Now, for some of you, had I never started this enterprise by the name Pro Air, I would not be where I am today, 14 years later, now speaking to you, now living a far better life than the one I used to earn $300. But this was only because I chose to say nothing will change until I change. I chose to open up my eyes and say, what can I provide that people can exchange money for a product or service that I do? And yes, I graduated from the University of Zimexmo with my faculty of hustle, where I used to sell cell phones, laptops, electronics, which I still do today. And I saw, wait, I could make my salary by selling 3-4 devices. I could make my salary by installing a couple of air cons. And ever since that day, my mind was transformed from just being a person who relied on the job now to being the person that I am today. Now, many will always ask me, but George, entrepreneurship, it's not for everybody. But I can tell you that poverty is there for those who choose that entrepreneurship is not for everybody. I have never seen a rich person who has a job. If you look at statistics, entrepreneurs are the people most likely to become millionaires and financially rich. I have never seen an employee who has a job solely becoming rich and wealthy. Because the next thing after you get a job, after that is to lose a job. Wakawana basa, chasara kubudiswa mubasa. But when you have your own enterprise, your own business, you then determine, due to the systems, the time, the years you've put into it, how that thing then begins to pay you back over the years gradually, and it takes time. But many do not have the confidence to begin. Many are full of fear of I don't know. And because of that, many will never see, taste, have, hold, experience certain things that those who were daring enough, the word is daring enough, to say, you know what, God sent me here on earth. We all know Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, says Elohim, the Most High God. And these plans are to give you a bright future so that you prosper and you can have all these amazing things. But unfortunately, God will not come on this planet and make you start a business. That God cannot do. But his promises His promises for you are, if you start, wherever you go, I will be with you. Do not fear, my son and my daughter. And had I feared, as George, billionaire, had I not started Pro Air Conditioning, I would not have served the many thousands of people, the many millions of lives I've changed, because I started. Now you, because you are staying safe where you are, you will never know what you could have become because you are full of fear. All you will say when you are of age and your kids are asking you, and I tell you this, the time will come, your children will ask you, but Dad, Mom, when all these other people were making money, what were you doing? Why were you scared? Why did you hold back? Why didn't you also start an enterprise? George, billionaire, many years ago, used to tell you that your job is not guaranteed because there's AI. There's so many things changing technologically that people's jobs are on a very thin rope of becoming extinct. We're in 2026. Remember this. By 2030, things are going to be totally different. The cars we drive are going to be different. The lifestyle we live is going to be totally different. So many people who have a job relying on their qualifications, in the next couple of years, you are going to get a very rude awakening. And remember and mark my words. If you don't start doing something for yourself now that is solving a problem or providing a solution, a product, or a service for the masses, not only for people in your country, but for the world at large, I'm telling you, you're going to, in the next couple of years, going to sit and wonder, I wish dai ndakateerera George paimbotudza kuti basa chete haritichengetedze. Your job alone will not take care of you because your kids will have high demands. Your finances will not be able to take you where you're supposed to go. And because of that, your life is going to be solely determined by you. Do not live a life of regret, but live a life full of purpose. We heard the legendary quote by one of the amazing men of our generation, Miles Monroe, who said that the richest place on planet Earth is the graveyard, because many people died full of potential. They went to heaven and they were told, dai wakangotanga Pro Air, had you just started an air conditioning company, you would have impacted many millions of people and become a billionaire. And you would have built schools and helped so many people. But because you chose to stay at that one job for 35 years of your life, for 20 years, and some of you listening, this makes a lot of sense. It relates with you. Once you lose your job, once they're not paying your kids' fees, once they're not giving you fuel and paying your medical aid, reality sinks in. And then there's no one else to blame. You cannot say, I worked for this company if it wasn't for me. Unfortunately, like we say, just like when we lose somebody at work and they go to be with the Lord, next week there's a replacement. Such is it with life. If you have a flat tire, that's why we have a spare wheel. You cannot even realize that the car is moving with a spare tire because it's moving. And that is it with life. Life goes on. But those who are willing to take personal responsibility of their life are the ones who are going to live a life that they are going to enjoy. Because Pano Pasi, here on earth, is the first heaven on earth. Here. This is where you choose what you drive, what you eat, what you wear, the lifestyle, the neighborhood you stay. All of that is up to you. So you cannot blame, I keep saying this, politics. You cannot blame His Excellency, our President, Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, or a political party, or a faction, or you cannot blame anybody. I repeat, you cannot. But the only person you can blame is the person we are looking at in the mirror today. I've said this so many times on the GB mentorship. if you have a chance to meet today your local president, whichever country you are in, and he asks you, what can I do for you? The words that come out of your mouth show how shallow in mind and in thought you are, and how you don't have a big vision to change the economy of the country. Most people will ask for money, but even if you got the money, what will you do with it? Most people will not ask for anything substantial, and this is why this show is there. We must begin to prepare ourselves. If I were to meet the president, definitely I'll tell him, hi sir, I can provide air conditioning solutions for all 10 provinces of the country to make sure that schools, hospitals, or government offices have air conditioning units which are energy efficient, which will cater for the low energy consumption of the whole country, because electricity now is scarce. I can provide a solution, and you will look and say, this young man is wise. You know what? Let's engage this young man because he has an idea. But for some of you, if that opportunity is to be presented, and the president, who is like none other, who definitely will give you an ear, especially in this current time, he will give you an ear to say, hi, what can I do for you? Some of the things that come out of your mouth, if all of us could hear them, would be, I want money, I want land, I want... But even if you got those things, a year down the line, there's nothing productively that you would have done that he will look and say, wow, I gave this person. And this is where we need to begin to transform our minds so that we can be people who are productive. Our JOBs alone will not take us to a place of financial stability where we'll be able to leave a legacy, generational wealth. You can't do that with your salary, because your salary alone cannot even take care of you for 6 months after you leave your place of work with the current lifestyle that you have. 6 Zagatowand. Some of you, it may not even take you very far. And this is the truth and the reality that we need to actually digest. We need to stop lying to ourselves that a political party is going to change us. It's not that. It is actually us. Because if you see the number of investors coming into this, our country, Zimbabwe, you should really ask yourself, but what do these people see? What are they seeing that I am not seeing? And when you get that revelation, you begin to start working on yourself. You begin to hang around with other entrepreneurs and say, how do I do this? And you begin to learn as you go. And I promise you, the best thing I ever did was to hang around with people who were far greater than me, the likes of Dr. Philip Chiangwa, Ken Sharp, Philip Mataranyika, Chamu Chiwanza, Prophet Jubit Angel, just to name a few. I could go on. I'm sure for those who know me on social media, I deliberately associated with people who were bigger than me, and they pushed me, they provoked me, they challenged me to think bigger, to do better. And because of that, I am now the person that I am, because I saw, wait a minute, it's possible. If Dr. Strive Masiwa did it, surely I also can do it. If Dr. Shingim Tasa can do it, surely I can do it. If Nigel Chanakira can do it, surely I can do it. And these are the Zimbabwean greats that we have in this country. And if we begin to think like that, I can tell you, we as Zimbabweans, we as Africans, we as people around the world, wherever we are, we will become a huge force to fight and to reckon with. And we will at mostly be unstoppable. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I urge you, I challenge you. Nobody is coming to rescue you. Nobody. You are the captain of your ship. You determine where you end up. And if you then end up dying full of potential, there's nobody else to blame, because there are so many things you could have brought to life. There's so many businesses you could have started. But because of fear, kuchka, because of I don't have capital, because I don't have this, all those are excuses of people who are not serious. But people who definitely want to make a plan, they will liquidate, they will sacrifice, they will risk. Because in life, truly, no risk, no return. Those who have excuses will never have those that take action. Those who take action will always have what people who are full of excuses don't have. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, holla holla, it's your boy George Billionaire. Have an awesome, amazing day. Change begins in your mind. And if you don't see yourself as a winner and as a success, you will never become what you want to be. Remember, for you to join the GB mentorship, the number is this, very simple, 0712 840 840. And follow George Billionaire Munengwa on YouTube and watch all these amazing videos so that your life can be transformed. Nobody's coming to